Hey guys, Ryan here at Signature Edits, and today we are going to look at the 5 keys to epic results using presets. So if you are a photographer going for that dark and moody look, these tips are going to help you get the very best results using your presets. Let's dive in. Alright, tip number 1, lighting is everything. So before you even open up your photos inside of Lightroom to edit, you have to ask yourself, are these photos already dark and moody? Do they already have the feeling that I want to convey within the shot? Because if you open up your photo in Lightroom and it's a bright, sunny day, like this one, we've got a blue sky, bright sun, really harsh shadows, backlight on the couple, no matter what preset I take, it's going to feel a little odd. And that's because your eyes are smart. They're thinking even when you aren't, and they know something isn't right with this photo. Doesn't matter if I darken it down like it's dark and moody, and I take the contrast out of it a little bit in post, we can still see this bright sun, this blue sky, and these harsh shadows. And those are all cues that indicate to your eyes unconsciously that this is not a dark and moody photo. It's a bright, sunny photo with a strange filter on top of it. Whereas if I go over to this photo, it was taken in the forest with very little harsh light. We've got pretty soft light happening here. It's already pretty dark, pretty moody. And if I take my presets and I put it on top, you're going to find that we already pretty much have the dark and moody look to begin with. Yes, I could adjust things here and there to make sure I get the look that I want, but we're already feeling dark and moody. So that is point number 1. Your light is everything. If you can get the look you want in camera, editing is a breeze. That is going to get the best results out of your presets. Tip number 2 is white balance. Make sure your white balance is set appropriately. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take this photo right here. I'm going to lower my exposure and apply a preset. Now you can see that things feel a little bit brown and mucky. That's because our white balance is not where it should be ideally. I'm going to take my temperature and just drag it down very slightly to make it slightly more blue. And you'll see what a difference that made. Here is auto, and here is the adjustment I made. It feels so much different because all of a sudden the tones are feeling more natural. So white balance and exposure makes all the difference. Tip number 3. Watch your contrast and adjust it as necessary. So not every photo has the same lighting conditions. Therefore, it's impossible to make a preset that is going to work perfectly on everything. It's going to be either too intense or not intense enough. So you can adjust this by playing with your contrast. Grab my contrast from its stock setting, pull it down, grab my blacks, pull it up, darken it down, and then grab my contrast and kind of dial it back in where I like it. Once I've got it somewhere that I'm happy with it, we can move on to point number 4, which is edit in batches. So once you've got your photos the way that you like them, the best thing you can do to make sure you're consistent as a photographer, make that Instagram feed on point, is to grab your images and edit them in batches. So all I have to do is grab all those photos and then click sync. I'm going to sync everything except for exposure, local adjustments, crop, and spot removal. Those are the things I want to set image by image. I'm going to sync everything else, and you're going to find that as I adjust my exposure here, we have a pretty consistent look, and we're almost all the way there where we'd want to be in just a few clicks. Plus, everything looks consistent. It all matches. Okay, so this is point number 5. Our last point, adjustment layers are your friend. So when it comes to editing dark and moody, one of the key things is getting your background dark and moody. But you also don't want to make your subjects disappear and blend into the background. So the easiest thing to do is grab an adjustment layer. And this is my favorite adjustment layer to use inside of Lightroom. It's just grabbing the contrast, taking it down. Press the quotation mark if you want, and that will invert your mask. And now I'm just brightening up the subject ever so slightly and reducing the contrast at the same time. So it's a win-win. Now I'm going to take my feather up a little bit, and you can see here's before and here's after. Makes all the difference in being able to lower your background intensity just a little bit. Now I can actually even copy over that local adjustment and apply it to my photos one at a time, and where I need to, just move it on top of the subjects like that. Now one other thing you can do is edit the background using this technique. We can grab our adjustment brush, and if you actually purchase the Moody Vibes pack, you can select from any of these things, including a nice pre-made add texture brush to bring out a little more texture in these stones, for instance. And then we can grab something that I really love. It's called Brooding Dehaze Darken. So this is just going to add some dehaze to the image And you can see how things are getting very dark and very moody very quickly. Pretty intense. Now I'm going to erase off of our subjects here. Great. And then you can actually dial back your effect by hitting this little arrow here and using this slider. So I can set it to maybe half of that. So you can see in our photo, here is the before and here's after. Adjustment layers are your friend, and they will help you get that preset a little bit farther. The preset can take you most of the way, but it's those little things that can make the big difference. So we've got our 5 tips to epic results with presets. Make sure you've got great light. Adjust your white balance so that it is in the right place. Edit the contrast where necessary from image to image, and edit in batches to save time and make your Instagram flow consistent. Lastly, use adjustment layers and dial those images in. That's what makes the difference in really setting you apart. So I hope these 5 keys to epic results with presets was helpful. If it was, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.